At home, I'm in a traditional Japanese atmosphere where we speak Japanese. And we occasionally have Japanese food, and we have rice every night. But then outside of the home, it seems that I'm in kind of a different world at school, and like being in the band. And I feel that I'm in between, that I don't know if I could readily get along or if I had to be in one culture all the time. Like, if I were to move out of my house and not to have any kind of Japanese background, or if I were to go to Japan and live there, I sometimes ask myself if I could get along. Last summer, I left school in June, maybe a week and a half early. And my dad and I went camping. We sat in the late afternoon and just talked about himself and about me. Something that was really good because being hassled in the everyday life, the routine schedule, it was really relaxing, just talking about things. In talking to him about my friends and about just the American people, he's very quiet. He feels that he really can't understand what people are saying, so he just kind of keeps quiet. I think he's very wise. He's seen a lot of life. He knows, what's going on. And sometimes, I guess I feel that way about life, that I know really what's going on, and I talk to him, or I think about it some more, and I find that I really don't. My mom has been working at cleaning houses in domestic work, maybe since the early 50s, as far as I can remember. She does a lot of things around the house, more than just cleaning house and keeping garden and things like that. She writes a lot of tanka poetry. She's limited as to what she can do because she has to bring in the income. And I sometimes wonder how she can do it. I mean, she's up very late at night washing the dishes or cleaning up, and still she has time to write. In Japan, she was an elementary school teacher, first and second grade, and she couldn't speak English that well to teach here. She often mentions that, she would like to really learn English. Taksan Shtoga, Nippon Jin, Nippon wa American ka Western ni natteru te yuteru ne. I think my mother wouldn't believe that I've tried marijuana or smoked it. I don't know why. One time I mentioned that I smoked marijuana and things said, no, she shook her head and said no. I'm sure my dad knows that I've tried it because I was rolling a joint in my room and I was leaning on the telephone book and he came in and got the telephone book, looked at me, and looked at him, and looked down at the desk, and he just walked out like nothing was there. Maybe nothing was, to him nothing was there. But I was just trembling, shaking, after, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because I hear of all these other people, whose parents bust them. Yeah. Now that I look back on it, like I don't have really any desire to smoke any marijuana now, but I look back on it, it's just a passing thing. That maybe to other people would be a passing thing, And then again, to some, it could, lead to other things. I don't know. I really don't know. It was something that I thought then would be really nice to, do for a long time. But it really wasn't. And I guess I've changed since then.
いつもやけど今日はもうバターで冷たくなって冷たくなって長い間待ってた2度も3度もあったら食べたそれでもお母さん知らない邪魔しろいつも
My father came over from Japan, kind of like a missionary. Through Hawaii, Taiwan, and the Philippines. He came to America with my mother. And this was maybe late 30s. Maybe 1940, and the war broke out. And they were all brought into the camps. And my mom and dad were separated for maybe the duration of the war. My dad was brought to New Mexico, and my mom and my older brothers were down in Southern California, near Lompoc. And the reason why they were separated was that since my dad was a minister, or something to do with religion, that the government thought that he might have something to do with spreading Japanese propaganda to the other Japanese people. On one occasion, I was talking to my mother about the living quarters. They had one small room for 3 kids and herself, and one pretty large bed. They tried to make the best of it. They made a lot of friends, like still keeping in touch now. They don't seem to hold any grudges or anything against government. And of the relocation centers, that's about all I know. About the Buddhist religion, I just know some of the basic philosophies. I don't know if I could really get into it and discuss them. I remember one time, a couple of years ago, I went and spoke to a Sunday school class, a Lutheran class. They were studying the other religions of the world, and I happened to know a person in that class. And I was asked to go speak, go talk about it. And I talked to my dad, and he told me to say certain things about it, and I did. And like on various religious holidays, the Buddhist religion, we pray before eating, a long kind of thing. Sometimes I see no purpose in it, now that I think of it, because I've been brought up with it, yet I really don't understand what it's saying. And sometimes I talk to my dad, I really don't know the meaning of being a Buddhist. And he said, well, you really don't have to. If someone asks you, just say that you're a Buddhist, and that's enough.
Here they are. Sure seems look like.
I feel that I owe something to them. not a debt, but just a feeling I have. My mother and my father have worked really hard. And to look at my brothers, see how far they've gone, kind of feel that I'm kind of obligated to go just as far. I guess it's customary in Japan, like when you have a father who does something, the children usually follow what he does, especially in being a minister. Because my mother's father was a minister, and her only brother is a minister down in Los Angeles. And her sisters are teachers in the religion. But my dad has, let us do what we want to do, rather than say, well, you're going to do this when you grow up. And I think that's really good. My father really didn't have a choice as to what he could do. He was restricted geographically and otherwise. For myself, I'm going to college, and I have just a vast, choice as to what to do and what I want to do with my life. And he was saying he used the term zeitaku, which means kind of upper class, And then I felt kind of a streak of guilt because, he didn't have a choice and I do, and I'm not even thinking that I could have possibly been in a position like that. And it makes me appreciate what I have and the position I'm in. I guess before I was kind of going through without really thinking about it.
Behind an alien, stranded on an unfamiliar world. Your job is to help E.T. find the 3 parts to his interplanetary communicator so that he can phone home before all of his energy runs out. E.T.'s phone parts are hidden at the bottom of deep wells. In order to help him find them, you must keep on the lookout for clues. E.T. moves across the screen as you watch for the first clue.